Hello, everyone. It's Dawn Fisher, Morning Glory Needleworks. I am so glad you're here for my 18th FlossTube video. And as always, thank you to everybody who subscribed and commented. I really appreciate it. I am now at over 400 subscribers, so I'm just thrilled. And again, just thank you. So as always, I'll go through my little blurb. Links to everything I talk about are listed under the description or comments section under the video. And I don't get any money for anything I talk about. I just enjoy it and want to share what I found with you. So also there's links to my Etsy shop, to my Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. The Stitch of the Month Facebook group, which you can join and get free copies of all the Stitch of the Month stitches and the sampler. My Morning Glory Needleworks Facebook page. I also have a Buy Me a Coffee if you'd like to donate. There's a bio link, a link to bio.link, which actually has a link to everything. And again, whatever else I talk about, there's a few little things I'm going to talk about. I also break my videos into chapters because sometimes they can get long and you may not have enough time to watch the whole thing, or you may just want to watch one section of it, such as today I'm going to talk about an antique sampler. So you may want to watch that section. So what you do is go in that description, it'll be in there. It'll say chapters. It'll be the title of the chapter. I think this one, I'm going to have like life update, making kits, progress on a new project, that type of thing. The antique sampler, there'll be a timestamp next to that, like 6 minutes and 42 seconds. So you just click on that. It'll take you right to that section of the video. So you don't have to watch the whole thing, but I hope you will. So anyway, it's the 15th. I can't believe it. I'm excited about all the good stuff I have to talk about. So I'm going to get started. So for my life update, in my last video, I talked about we were going to go to the Webster Flea Market, which is about an hour and a half north of here, in Webster, which is a really tiny little town. And basically their main business there, I believe, is this flea market, which is every Monday. But we went on Labor Day, which is one of the bigger days. It wasn't huge as it is President's Day, Martin Luther King Day. Those days are really, really big because it's cooler. It was pretty hot when we went. But it was still pretty busy and we didn't stay very long. Well, we stayed about 2.5 hours. It was hot. I was tired. I'm having problems with my foot. Jeffrey rented a scooter, electric scooter, which they have for rent there, which is great. So he zoomed around and I dragged our wagon around. We didn't buy a lot. We didn't browse as much. Usually we really dig into stuff, but we really didn't want to buy a lot of stuff. I was looking for really specific items. I only found one salt cellar, which I was disappointed because I was hoping to find some more of the little glass salt cellars. I'm gonna have to find somewhere else to get some. I found a couple of glass flower frogs, which people use to put scissors in. And I got a new stitching collectible. So I'm gonna be talking about it later in the FlossTube and I'll show you up close and you can see it. Now we didn't, like I said, we didn't buy much, but we had a good time. It was good to be out. So it was very hot, very hot. We had a good time. So it was good. It was good to be out in the fresh air. So also, in my last FlossTube, I talked about the Laura Standish sampler. So I wanted to just mention something about that again. Okay, so in my last video, I showed the kit and I said I bought this in when it first came out in probably 1989, thereabouts. And I said you could find them on eBay and Etsy and other places. Well, these are actually still available. The exemplary, however you say it. She has these on her Etsy site, her Etsy shop. So I did post a link. I posted it in the last one because I found out afterwards. And then I posted a link in this video, under this video, to be able to buy these. I think it's available with floss or silk. It still has the 35 count linen. The kit with the DMC floss is $108, and that includes, you know, the instructions and everything I showed in the last video. So if you didn't see it, you can look at it. Now, if you want the silk, which is what I have, the kit is $282, and that includes huge hanks of silk. So it has extensive, wonderful instructions for doing the sampler, either reversible or non-reversible, whichever way you want to do it. And if you love samplers as much as I do, I highly recommend this kit because just the historical property of it is wonderful. And the instructions are fabulous too for that. So again, there's a link down underneath in the discussion or comments section. And I have been busy making kits for the button box class. I've mentioned this several times. I have this class for the button box coming up on the 23rd, and it's the 15th. So I'm still almost done finishing up the kits for that. And I'm also making kits for this little project called My Needlework Necessities. And it's only available if you take the class. So here's what's inside of this little kit, and it includes everything to complete this kit, except the threads. I don't include the threads because if you've done this, you have all the threads left over. You can buy the threads, but if you've done this class, there's plenty of thread left for these to finish this kit. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. So part of the kits have already been mailed out. This button box has pre-work in order to do the class in one day. You have to have this vine stitched, and then we work from the vine to do all the flowers or the button flowers. So I've already sent them the preliminary instructions with the chart and how to do the vine. It includes the 2 shades of green that you'll need and the linen and all those instructions. And I also include this is part of the letter I send them, but it has all the different size buttons you're going to need and how many of them, whether they have 1 hole, or I mean, not 1 hole, 2 holes or 4 holes, and the different sizes. And these are the exact sizes they need. And this is actually how I do the kits. I have this out and I go through all my thousands of buttons and pick out the buttons for each of the kits. Now the kits do include all of the buttons. You can see here, I have them. There's little bags of buttons and they're all labeled. There's 2-hole buttons and 4-hole buttons and small buttons and all different buttons and the banding. And then I have a sheet of foam core. I went to Michael's and they were wonderful enough. Michael's Craft Shop. I buy sheets of foam core and take it to the framing department and they cut them to size for me. So it saves me a lot of time. They don't even charge me to cut them. Now I can't guarantee every Michael's is going to do that, but the Michael's I use does. So anyway, these kits are pretty much done. I just finished cutting, like I have stacks and stacks of batting here in my bag of foam core. So those kits are done. Now I'm working on the kits for this My Needlework Necessities, this accessory kit, because it was specifically requested that I bring some of these. So I only had so much linen on hand because I'm not a store. I just have like a storage, a closet with tubs of fabric in it. So I just buy a few yards of linen at a time or however much I'm going to need. So I did have enough I'm going to be making up kits for these. So that's what I've been doing. I actually had to clear my table off here to be able to cut all the fabric and all the extras. Now this kit, I love it, but this is a list of everything that goes in that kit. So I get out the list and I go, okay, I need 2 pieces of wool, this size by this size, 1 piece of wool, this size by this size. I need 2 little pieces of linen, 1 big piece of linen, 1 under iron on, and iron on Pellon, and just everything I need, what buttons I need for this kit, what size. And this one has special buttons because it has little teeny tiny buttons inside. This is a fun little project. And all these designs are basically the same as what's on the button box. It comes with all the instructions, but if you've done this, you can do this. And the fun thing about this is a little pin cushion, and it's got wool roving. The kit has wool roving in it, so you can pad it. And this one comes with a little tape measure with my logo on it. And it fits in the pocket here. And then I also have, this is something I want to talk about because a lot of people don't know what these are. This is a linen tester. This is the little box that comes in. And I have a lot of, well, I have a lot of these laying around because I bought a case of them. But I bought my first one of these in the 80s, and it's a beautiful brass one. And it's in a little case, and I carry it with me everywhere. It's in my purse, and I have another one in my little purse I take to retreats. That one's actually an antique one that I found that's brass. These are plastic. But what this is, you take it, okay, this is it all folded up. So it's very small. It can fit in your purse or in your stitching box. And you take, see, this folds up. And this folds up. So there you have it. This is a magnifier here. And you can see on the bottom here, it has, I think these are millimeters, but I use the inches. This is 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4 of an inch. So what you do, you take, I don't have a loose piece of linen handy, but what you would do is you lay this on the fabric, set it right on the fabric, look through the magnifier, and you line up the 0 with one of the threads. And then what I do is I look through the magnifier and I count how many threads are in 1/2 an inch. So on something like this is 28 count. So in 1/2 an inch, there would be 14 threads. And that is how then you multiply it by 2. So, you know, your linen is 28 count, or linen 8 o'clock, whatever you have to figure it out. That way, if you find a piece of linen, you can just count it out and you don't have to guess the size of it or sit there with a ruler or something. This really magnifies it. So I think it's a 5 times magnifier. I'm not sure, but it magnifies it enough so you can see it. And then I usually take like a pin and I can count the threads, or a needle. So anyway, but that one comes, this comes with it, and it just folds up. And there's all different sizes of these. To me, this is the perfect size. They have great big ones, and then they have little ones. But anyway, that's what's on the inside of here. So you can see this, this kit has a lot of parts to it. Wool, different sizes, ribbon, the rings that are attached. So I just sit in my little office sewing room here. And lately I've been putting on my headset and listening to my audiobooks. And I just finished Where the Crawdads Sing, which was excellent. So, But anyway, I've been trying to work on the kits a little at a time and not like spend a whole day in here. I just spend a few hours at a time, and maybe one day cut all the linen and maybe a few other things for the, here's my bag of stuff. Here's the wool roving, rings, buttons. I just sat and sorted buttons, all the different size buttons I needed, counted them out, put them in bags, all that. And I just listened to my audiobook, and I'm just, it's just a good way. It's been really rainy here lately, so that's great. But I'm trying to do it a little at a time, because I used to, like 2 days before, the night before, it's like, oh no, I have to make up, 30 kits, and I'm running around and it's not fun. So I've been trying to be a little more proactive and getting the kits made up a little bit sooner. So anyway, that's what I've been doing lately. But in the evenings, I have been working on my new project. I showed this last time. This is the one I had started and then decided the 32 count linen was too small, or for the thread I'm using for the stitches that are in here. Now, usually 32 count on, or this is the sulky threads, the 12 weight cotton petites that I use. Usually on 32 count, it would be okay because it's about the size of 2 strands of DMC floss. But because there's a lot of stitches in this and some of them are a little intricate, it got too tight on the 32 count. So I changed to 28 count. This is 28 count cream cashel linen, which is wonderful. I love it. And I'm having a really good time. I'm getting close to the end. I have about, I think about 5 more rows of the little rows across. And then once I'm done with it, I'll explain what it is. So it's kind of unnamed, but this is actually all the same colors that are in the button box, because these are my favorite colors. When it's released for sale, of course, you can use whatever colors you want. But anyway, that's what I've been working on in the evenings and having a great time. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get it done and get it published so everybody else can enjoy it also. Now, as I said earlier, we went to the flea market, and I did find one wonderful little tool. I collect a lot of antique sewing tools and sewing stuff and kits, or not kits, samplers, needlework, things like that. So I did find one little fun item, and this is a stiletto. And I don't know, let me get it there. You can see that good. See, it has a dragonfly on it. Isn't it pretty? Of course, when I got it, it was totally black. So I did polish it up. I believe it's silver plate, not sterling, because it just looks at it like it is. It looks like it's been polished a lot, and some of the silver's been worn away on it, but I just think it's beautiful. And for $3, I couldn't pass it up. It has some markings on it, but I think it just says patent applied for, really tiny there. And on one side, it is stamped silver. And then there's something, because they've actually stamped it on the design. On one side, it's stamped silver, but I think it's silver plate. Like I said, I may have to get some better magnifiers out to look at it. But I thought this would be a good time to talk about stilettos and awls. So I have pulled out, of course, if you've watched me before, you know this is my favorite book. I did provide a link to Amazon to purchase this book. You can also find it other places. There's a description in the link of the name of the book and the author, so it makes it easy to find. I was lucky enough to get it when it first came out, and I actually have an autograph. Ooh. So anyway, And so, of course, I looked in her book, and sure enough, here is a whole section on awls and stilettos, which I have a few of, not a lot. I have a few. I believe I have more than what are here, but things get packed away and moved around. So with her book, the first thing she talks about is awls, which I have a couple of here. These are bone. These are probably bone. I don't think they're ivory, but they're not as pointed. See, that one's actually got a hole in it. Maybe you could attach it to a chatelaine. This one, I don't know if this one is an awl or not, but I just thought it was kind of cool. It actually has holes in it. I use these as laying tools a lot of times also. So what Dawn says about awls, it says an awl is a sharp pointed handheld tool for piercing leather and textiles. The awl starts out wide at the handle and narrows to a pointed tip. Common materials for American awls include metal, bone, mother of pearl, and ivory. The handle section of the awl can be smooth or patterned, and she has some wonderful pictures in here of awls made of bone. It says awls were necessary tools for men and women. The same tool is sometimes referred to as a fid. I had never heard of that before. Fid, F-I-D. Most fids were generally larger and used to work out knots in rope. Small sizes are very useful in embroidery, and this universal tool is useful for untangling knots in thread. The tip of the awl or fid can be inserted into a knot to loosen it for untangling. I had not heard that before. I did not know that. Now, what I have is what is considered a stiletto. A stiletto is a metal awl with an attached handle where the metal pointed awl rod is held in with a decorative handle. The handles are made in a variety of styles and materials. Some American styles are made of bone. Other handle materials include wood and mother of pearl. In 1907, Charles Haynes of Newark, New Jersey, received U.S. patent 917,295 for an embroidery stiletto, also called a fabric piercer. His invention had an adjustable slide, that's what this has, to limit the size of the hole made by the point. Other century styles include one-piece sterling stilettos. So there's a little knob here, and you can move this up or down. So if you only want your hole to be very small, you can move this down, and now it's locked in place. So, or if you want it to be larger, you can move it up, or this is actually totally removable also. So that is what Dawn has to say about this. And she also has other, there's more pictures here. So mine is like this one down here, and I also have one like this up here. So this is my other one. This one is sterling. It is marked sterling silver. It's very pretty. It has, see it well enough. It has beautiful little flowers up along on the handle. It does not have the movable thing. It may have had at one time, because you can see they're very similar in size. So it may have had one of these at one time, but it does not have one now. Now this one is sterling. I actually got this one at Webster also from another one of the dealers there. So this one, she knew more what she had, and I paid more than $3 for it. Now, not a huge amount because I'm kind of cheap. But anyway, so that is, these are stiletto awls, and that is my latest purchase. Next, I told you I wanted to get back to talking about some of my antique needlework and samplers. So what I have here, this is a sampler I bought. I actually bought it on Facebook from Richard, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce your last name, Richard, but he sells a lot of samplers on Facebook. I think I'll add maybe a link to his Facebook page in case you're interested, because every Tuesday, usually on Tuesdays, he posts some samplers for sale. So I bought a few samplers from him, and then he kind of, now he's tempting me because he actually emailed or sent me a couple of messages, and he had, this is the second one I bought, but he had a sampler with the last name of Fisher on it. So of course I had to buy it. So this sampler, I'll show you close-up pictures of it because it's not framed, so everything kind of shows through the back. But I'll show you close-up pictures of it so you can see the motifs and other things better. This is by Mary Ann Fisher. And Mary Ann was born November 16, 1825, and stitched this when she was 9. So, like I said, I'm going to do, I'll pull up my PowerPoint, and then you'll be able to see this much better. But it's a really a nice sampler. So let me pull up PowerPoint, and I can do, I'll show you close-up pictures of it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the sampler. So here you can see the entire sampler. It had where I laid it out and took pictures of it on a white background. That way everything shows through a lot better. I've actually tried to look in my ancestors, but to see if there's a Mary Ann Fisher, and I have my genealogy quite a ways back on both sides, and unfortunately I could not find a Mary Ann Fisher. I may keep looking, but she stitched a sampler when she was 9 years old, and she was born November 16th, 1825. So this is circa 1834 when she stitched it. And this sampler was stitched using silk threads on 32 count linen, which is not a real fine linen for that age. And it's large. The design area is approximately 17 by 17. And believe it or not, quite a bit of this sampler is stitched over one thread. So here you can see a few of the motifs. On the left side, there's some dancing squirrels. I love them. They're underneath the flower pot. And on the left, it's hard to see, but it's actually, I believe it's a little dog, but I love the dancing squirrels. And the band of flower baskets under the top verse is all stitched over one thread. So let me go back up. So that whole band under where the dancing squirrels are on either side is all stitched over one thread, the flower baskets and the little diamond shapes, the flower baskets and the diamond shapes. And she must have really enjoyed stitching over one. And also the huge basket of flowers in the center, see that huge basket in the center? That is all stitched over one thread. And then there's satin stitches around the edges for details, and straight stitches in the leaves that you can see. But this, you usually don't see that much stitched over one thread. You can see the squirrels are stitched over one. The little dog is stitched over one. So she must have had really good eyes to stitch all that over one thread. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I wish she was related to me, but I could not find anything with the name Mary Ann Fisher, but I'm going to keep looking. So believe it or not, that's it for FlossTube number 18. And thank you again to everyone who liked, subscribed, commented on my videos. I love to read the comments. So be sure to subscribe so you'll know when the next video posts. And also for those of you who are doing the Stitch of the Month and enjoy it, please post your picture, join the Facebook Stitch of the Month group. There's a link posted in the description here, and post pictures. I love to see what you're working on. I've been trying to post pictures. I'm not real good about that, but also let me know what stitches you want to learn. Obviously, I have a bunch of stitches here, so I will be coming up with a new Stitch of the Month for October 1st. So we've got a couple of weeks. So if there's something you want to learn or a stitch, you'd like to hear more about, let me know and I will work on it. So again, thank you again, and I will see you on the 1st of October.